Hey, everybody. I don't even know what's my intro?
I don't know. What's
We're
mine?
gonna start this all over again.
I need an intro now. I should fan this.
No, it's the show's intro. You'll have your own intro as well. I mean, this show is basically all about you guys anyways. But for everyone else, I'm Brian from Ultimate Upland, and you are watching the Upland Game Show. It's a show where we talk about everything outdoors and upland, and we ask questions to determine who is the winner of Bird Brain Trivia. And tonight, joining us, the famous Heather Shaw and Tiffany Compton. I don't know how much fame. Well, Heather, you've got a degree of fame in the Midwest. Most bird hunters around these states know of you.
I don't know if I'd call it a degree of fame, but I'll take it. I will absolutely take it.
Stephanie, what's your level of fame? We were just talking about how you hate Ohio.
No, for the record, I'm a huge Ohio State fan, so I just got a bunch of enemies, but I have zero fame compared to that woman.
You're in Indiana now, right, Tiffany?
Yes, Central Indiana.
And then Heather, you're all the way up there in the UP. Basically, it's Canada.
I can't even read Canadian, but yeah, I'm just south of Marquette in the UP.
Wow, up there ways. How much snow you guys got?
We had a foot on Easter, and it's finally warming up. So we had a few woodcock coming through before we get that snow, and they have not been back yet. So waiting on the birds to come back right now at this point in time, but it's slowly disappearing finally.
Well, why don't we talk about your hunting cruise? Let everybody know kind of who you are. Tiffany, how'd you get started in hunting? And tell me about your crew. I know about your crew because I follow you on social. But I want to know, I'm sure people want to know about you. They want to make sure that you're legit. Even though you do have a ruffed grouse right there in the background, it looks like.
That is a UP ruffed grouse right there.
That scores you a point right out of the gun.
Yes.
See, if Heather would have watched episode number 1, she would have known that deer in the background are -1.
Grouse right there. 2 grouse.
So what do you got, Tiffany? How did you get started hunting?
So I actually grew up hunting whitetail, typical Indiana game. Knew that I wanted a bird dog, got into it blind. Found a great breeder, got a great first dog. I'm so lucky I did not ruin her. And I dived into it head first. I'm now completely obsessed. I now have 2 bird dogs, both German short hair pointers, and couldn't think of, there they are. They are rock stars.
There they are.
Couldn't think of doing anything else.
So how long ago did you start that?
Well, Oakley is 6.5. She'll be 7 in November. So I had not hunted an upland bird prior to that, only a waterfowl and, like I said, large game.
Large game. And what about you, Heather? Tell the people about your hunting crew and how you got started.
Sure. So even for hunting, I was more of an adult onset hunter. So my degrees in wildlife biology, I have a master's in wildlife biology and GIS. And throughout college, I actually started out in vet school too, and was a barrel racer, and that was my biggest passion too. So I didn't really have time for any other extracurricular activities. That was my number one. So when I actually moved kind of into the wildlife biology major, I just became obsessed with bird hunting right away and cut my teeth on bird hunting and upland game birds. And every position I've had since then, and throughout my career, has really focused on game bird ecology and management. And I'm a wing shooter through and through. So that's my biggest passion. I do love to pursue other game, but at the end of the day now, once you have bird dogs, you can never really find that additional supplemental. That's hilarious. Sure, I love it. That's Chip is happy. It is a happy place. In the grouse.
I like the facial expression on that one. I thought I'd distract you with the picture of your dog.
I love it. That was the Minnesota Northwoods. So yeah, I've got a Llewellyn setter. That's Chip. He's going to turn 3 next month, and he goes with me everywhere. So a lot of people have probably ran into me and seen him in one place or another. He's my road warrior. And my better half has 2 Britneys. So we live in a biracial household essentially right now, and we're figuring it all out. It's working out well.
I was going to ask you guys that. That's kind of where this train is headed. Are you guys breed snobs?
Betterville. What's that?
Are you breed snobs? Tiffany, are you only a GSP person? You always going to be a GSP person? You're a breed snob?
I am. I am admittedly a breed snob. My ex-husband had a English setter, and that was a problem.
Oh, is that was that what led to the
out.
to the separation?
Well, I
Likely.
didn't like the dog.
Or the guy,
So,
apparently.
let me make sure I have this straight. You liked your ex-husband? I think that you liked your ex-husband, but you didn't like his dog.
In the beginning. Oh, he's gonna be so mad at me for this.
So
Does this show up on the screen yet?
Yes.
Oh, we see that loud and clear. Heather apparently came prepared with signage. I think you may be at a disadvantage, but it's something new. Heather, what about you? Are you a breed snob, even though you're living in a mixed household right now?
I mean, setters have a special place in my heart. I know I definitely want to get another setter. I cut my teeth on flushers actually with labs. So, I mean, every bird dog has its right place in the world, and I appreciate all of them equally. I love these Brittany's too. They really turn it on, and they're our most reliable dogs right now. Well, my setter is still putting the pieces together too. So they all have their own, they excel in their own ways. They're all super agile and great athletes and just amazing family dogs for us as well. So I love them all, but
you ever seen a crazy dog in the field that you didn't think was like you were surprised to see that breed in the field when you're hunting?
What's that?
You ever see a crazy breed in the field that you were like, oh, that's a little odd?
You know, I think Ronnie Bame's dogs, maybe the Brachytalianos. I don't see many of those in the field. So when I see him, that's kind of a special treat. But yeah, I don't really see a lot of, I've seen a Spinoni once or twice, and those catch me off guard. But, other than that, for the most part.
I know somebody running UFTA with a whippet.
No kidding? That's awesome.
Yes.
Oh, whippet. I've thought about that. So Tiffany, you're never going to switch from GSPs, is what you're saying?
No.
And it sounds like Heather could be swayed depending.
Nope. No, Eric doesn't know it, but I'm definitely on the additional setter plan. So we at least need to have 2 and 2. And I should. So
it's funny you guys mentioned the Spinones, because that kind of leads us to our first question. I am not a breed snob, although I do have a Llewellyn and I have 2 labs. But those Spinone Italianos, for those people who don't know what they look like, I'm fascinated by those dogs.
They're intriguing.
They just have this strange body type for the prototypical bird dog, I think. So I'm like, man, and I think it was like 5 years ago, I was in South Dakota hunting and just driving on like a back road, and kind of in my peripheral view, I see this monster hunting this public land, and I'm like, what the hell is that thing? And I knew of the breed, but I'd never seen one running before. And so I pulled over and I just watched, and I'm sure that guy was like, what's this guy doing? Because when you're hunting public land, you see somebody pull over and you're like, oh, that guy's going to get out and shoot my birds. But I just sat there and I watched. I literally got out of the car and I was like, wow, this is fascinating. So I'm like, I'm kind of the guy, I think, I first of all, I have this thought that any dog will hunt. You can teach any dog to bird hunt. There's the whippet theory, Tiffany. Like, I kind of believe in that. But there's also a part of me that goes, man, I want to see what other dogs hunt like. But let's go with the first question. I don't want to lean. I knew what kind of breeds you had, so I didn't want to give anybody the advantage, except for myself. So according to the United Kennel Club, not the AKC, the UKC. I know Tiffany's a bird person. She thinks she has the advantage. This is going to be, or a bird dog person. This is going to be interesting. What is the upper weight limit, the range, for the Spinone Italiano?
Oh, how funny that they come up. Do we just blurt our answer out?
No, you got to write it down and you're going to show me.
No, I want to yell.
My marker's not working.
iPad wasn't working earlier. Marker's not working now. Did you get that marker working?
Yeah.
Life isn't working for you right now, Tiff.
Whoa. All right. So Tiffany says 80 pounds. Heather says 125. According to the UKC, the upper weight range, 81 pounds.
Wow.
Great guess,
That's
Tiffany.
an awesome guess.
Tiffany
Man, I thought they
goes
could
up
pack a
1
little
to
more
nothing.
meat than that.
Oh, I forgot to show you guys. I get so involved in the conversation, I forgot to show you what you're going to win.
Yeah.
So tonight's winner is going to get the prized possession of the ultimate Upland hat with the brightest orange you've ever seen in your life, a cooler decal, of course, ultimate Upland branded, and your $25 Cabela's gift card.
Awesome, Brian.
And of course, the loser, you guys discussed it in advance because there's no points for second place. The loser of this little competition is going to do a shot of
Cholula.
There we go. Shot glass and oh wow, and that's a liberal shot too.
You already have it ready.
Yeah.
Oh.
She either that means she's planning on losing or she just wanted to scare you with the size of her shot.
Liberal pours here in the Compton household.
So for those of you all who may not be paying attention to the news, apparently there's a pandemic going on right now.
No way.
And how that ties in with Heather is apparently your state had a full-on rebellion that I saw on the news. I think I'm a little better aware of how Indiana and Ohio are doing because, but
we're not on the news. That's why
your Michigan thing kind of flipped out the other day, didn't they?
So nothing's been reversed whatsoever yet, but yeah, Michigan kind of led the charge on that one. And I don't know, I know a couple individuals that went down and rallied in Lansing. It's not my cup of tea, and I was pretty surprised to see it happen, to be honest with you. But man, then I saw everything just exploding into other states too. So I don't think it's going to help whatsoever. I think, we're still going to continue. At least we're on state lockdown mandatory until the end of the month now, and we're expecting that to go into May. So
yeah, they're calling for 1st of May here, but the numbers in Ohio are still going up, so I think that's just going to get pushed. What about you, Tiff? Are we in good zone in Indiana, or are you screwed too?
No, Indiana so far, knock on wood, has not put us into such a strict lockdown. I'm actually going turkey hunting tomorrow, bright and early. So our turkey season opens tomorrow and we're still allowed to go. So I'll be out there.
What happened to real work?
Yeah, luckily our season opened a few days ago in Michigan too. And a lot of people have already got some great birds on the ground, and we still have an opportunity to get out and fish. But a lot of this really was kind of spurred from the prohibition, if you will, of motorized boat use. So a lot of people
Tiffany,
are going out trying to hammer walleye and stealing.
You do realize that it's a weekday, right? I know most people are kind of forgetting now that this, the day of the week, but it's a weekday, Tiffany. You're not supposed to be going out. What's the deal?
No, so Indiana's season has always opened on a Wednesday. Leave it to us to be completely backwards.
I prefer a weekday opener, personally.
Because it's less busy?
Yeah.
They
did a Saturday opener this year. We tried it out for the first time, and I've just heard, we're still just kind of scouting for birds and have a little bit more time in the UP for our unit. But yeah, I've been hearing that public lands in southern Michigan have been pretty crowded for those chasing their turkey. So
how's the toilet paper supplies holding up there?
Are you referring to me?
Yeah.
I'm good. I'll use a pine needle if I have to. I'm ready.
What about you, Tiff? Did you hoard toilet paper? Did you go out and get yourself a couple cases in the beginning?
No, we were fine.
On a random fishing trip last week, stopped for snacks, and I ended up finding a fully stocked store, and I bought a case.
There's a stigma if you're buying any, even if you actually need it now, that you shouldn't be buying it. So
there is.
I don't know what we do now.
But toilet paper stockpiling leads us to our next question. There are wild swings in the estimate for how many rolls of toilet paper one tree can make. But there's this mathematician online, and his name's David Pankhurst. He did a ton of research and calculations, and he wrote an article in 2012. I read the entire thing. Yes. And based on his findings, how many rolls of toilet paper could likely be made from one 40-foot tall pine tree?
So how are you calculating rolls?
Yeah, big rolls, little rolls, single
He
ply.
calculated a
double
roll
ply.
at a half pound. He was doing it by volume, I guess. So he calculated the volume of a 40-foot pine tree, and then he balanced that versus a half-pound roll of toilet paper, which apparently is the standard. You guys, that case that Tiffany picked up in the backwoods of God knows where, it's probably made of fucking sandpaper. So who knows how much that thing weighs, but it's a half-pound roll. Also, just while you guys are calculating out your answers, this really isn't how toilet paper is generally made. They don't chop down 40-foot trees for toilet paper. There was, in 2019, there were a bunch of articles from major news organizations going that toilet paper is going to be the downfall of all trees in the Western civilization. Toilet paper is normally made from pulpwood or pieces of wood from mills that aren't actually cut into boards, but peripheral pieces. So you got your answers? 200 rolls versus, wait, what's the bottom say? Did you just flip it upside down?
Me?
Oh,
yeah, I just flipped it
115. Heather says 115. Actually, according to David Pankhurst, that tree would produce 2,500 rolls. And so based on that, Tiffany's
killing it.
Another victory, 2-0 in favor of Tiffany.
All right, girlfriend.
Heather, do you think that is an interesting thought that maybe this toilet paper run could produce some more grouse cover in the future?
That's been discussed too amongst some of my colleagues as well. And there's definitely a lag, obviously, in the forest products industry. There's a lag time between any product that you're processing, but we might see it depending on how long this lasts. We may, if we're writing this out for a few months, we may actually see a full production cycle. Who knows? But
yeah, we won't get too deep into the woods and forestry, because I know that's partly your work, and you probably,
snooze fest for most people, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. But it is funny. I mean, Tiffany, you hate Ohio, but here in Ohio, when I was growing up, and I think this is in a lot of states where there isn't a lumber industry, cutting down trees is still looked at as a bad deal. And I think we all know, because of what we do, that cutting trees isn't a bad deal. A mature forest really isn't good for much of anything other than building boards.
Yep, absolutely.
Pretty much.
So it is I just think it's funny that stigma still exists. They were trying to do some harvesting in a state forest down here, real close to where I grew up, and people had they lost their minds, and the woods needs cut.
We have the same situation in Indiana with our yellowwood, and there are thousands or probably hundreds of thousands of dollars going into a campaign to stop that logging, and it's just crazy.
Yeah,
I fought the fight right there with you guys in Indiana and Ohio for the past 4 years as well, and I can totally relate. A lot of it is public opinion and policy related now, and there's some big challenges.
It's very hard driven by public opinion down here, and it's still crazy to me to think that as long as we've been going down this education cycle of harvesting timber isn't a bad thing, that there's just a fraction of the country that actually recognizes that as the truth.
Exactly.
Mind blowing to me. Well, you guys are grouse hunters, so timbering is a good deal. But talk to me about woodcock hunting. When you go grouse hunting, Tiffany, what's your thoughts on are you targeting woodcock, or would you rather not see woodcock because they're just too easy for you?
No, a couple years ago when I first started, I had the two very young dogs, that setter and my second short hair, and we absolutely put them on woodcock. More birds, the better. We don't necessarily target them whenever we go up there. I'm the only person who will eat them at our camp, so there's that.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I've heard of people who will shoot woodcock, but then they'll feed them to the dogs, which I always kind of go, ooh, that always sounds a little bit right there on the fringe to me. But Heather's probably one of those people. So Heather, what about you?
No way. I love woodcock so much. And I just have a huge appreciation. They're a funky little bird. There's a reason that people are so fascinated by them. And as a migratory bird that then undergoes additional hunting pressure and puts up with us chasing them through the grouse woods, I love them. They're a really hardy bird, and
those cool little dinosaurs. You got one of those mounted up there anywhere?
Yeah, I'll have to show you guys in a second. I'd have to move my whole laptop,
those
but we
those
do,
little
yeah.
dinosaurs. So there's going to be some people that watch this that don't bird hunt at all, and
I should,
have never seen these birds before. And the American woodcock is one of the most fascinating looking birds you will ever come by, because the eyes are like, they're out here on the sides of their head like a horse. Super freaky looking little bird, and there it is, and they fly like bats, or at least look like bats. They're super short tails. So the way they fly, especially when they first flush in timber, as you guys well know, I can't ever claim that I'm going to ever hit a woodcock. I've probably missed 10 times the amount I've actually ever connected with because of this action, But let's talk about woodcock. And the next question, Heather, you may know about the Eastern Woodcock Migratory Research Cooperative.
I do.
But, and Tiffany's nervous now because she thinks this question hedges you, and it might, but in 2018, that cooperative, bunch of scientists, they tagged 121 woodcock, and they were tracking their migration. Super cool research. And if you go to their website, they've got a website. I'd like to think of what it is off the top of my head.
I think it's woodcockmigration.org or woodcockmigrationstudy.org.
Look out. Somebody's on top of this question.
No, you're gonna pull a left fielder on me, I know it.
So the longest migration they tracked in that period was 1,520 miles. That's with stopovers and everything. And the way the way woodcock fly is, and they found in this, and this is something I learned from that site and from their additional research, is woodcock basically, they'll do a flight and then they'll rest for 4 or 5 days was the average amongst these 121 birds, and then they'll do another flight. So my question is, on flight days, what was the average length of flight?
That's a good question.
While they're writing that answer down, woodcock are worm eaters, by the way, for those of you who don't know a lot of woodcock, they aren't in your part of the country. And there's more of a central, Michigan would be in that kind of that central flyway. Oh, that's not exactly, it's a central corridor, although there's some crossover. This data was from the Eastern corridor from Canada through Maine, and I think 6 different states. They were tagging them down to New Jersey, and the migrations went much further south than that. All right, you got your answers? No, give it in miles.
You didn't specify.
Miles. Do it in miles. What's the length?
You did it in hours too.
In miles?
Yeah, I don't know the hours.
Look, I did hours too.
I don't know how long they're flying. I want to know how far they're flying on those flights. I should have been more clear with my question. But
by the way, I don't feed woodcock to my dogs. I love woodcock and love eating them and love hunting them. I didn't get to stand up for myself there.
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking smack about people who did feed them to their dogs, and I didn't find out your answer first, so I just wanted to cut you off if you were going to say I feed them to my dogs.
I have no clue.
Don't show Heather your answer yet.
She already knows. She knows.
No, she's just going to guess one lower than you.
I don't know the average of that study particularly. My master's research involved migration ecology too, and
see, she did have an advantage on you in this one, but Heather says 375 miles.
They're much hardier bird too.
200 miles. The average in that study was 157 miles per flight.
Right. That seems way lower than what I would normally expect, especially with stopover considered. But
yeah, and so the average migration days, if I remember right, it would work out this way. I think it was like 27 is a total number of days. And you got to take into account that, Heather, some of those birds aren't flying. The overall travel isn't nearly as far. So it's.
Yeah, I was thinking on our long-term Great Lakes migrants too, that maybe going over those larger ecological barriers as well.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. They kind of just skip and hop on those stopovers.
They skip and hop, and some of them drop out, and some of them the stopover period, some of them were stopping over for like 20 days.
You have to refuel those fat stores.
The flight's super crazy. But they show the track, all the birds. That's something that's really cool on that site. So yeah, shout out to those guys. That site, super awesome. And I like that. Hey, what's your favorite recipe for cooking woodcock now that you say you eat them?
Eric does one that has become my favorite as well. He just wraps them in a water chestnut and then bacon on the outside, a really light touch of Worcestershire, and we just grill them. And they're amazing.
I don't cook to save my life, so it's whatever anybody else will do with them. I just eat them.
I'll send you some recipes.
French preparation is you pluck the bird whole and
I need to do that.
Leave the insides in and roast it. Innards in.
I have never roasted one, actually. I've never plucked one either. I don't know.
I'm not sure I'm down with the traditional French preparation, but we'll see. What is your standard carry shotgun right now? What are you guys using most when you go in the woods? I know, Tiffany, I watch your social. You probably have more guns than anybody I know, but what's your standard carry?
So I'm on the Cesar Greeny train right now. I have the Tiempo Sporting in a 12 gauge, and I have the beautiful Ellipse Evo round body in a 20, and both of those will go to the grouse woods with me.
Those are gorgeous.
I like that. Somebody who uses high dollar guns and gets them scratched up. What about you, Heather?
My go-to right now is a 20 gauge Fausti Caledon. I absolutely love that gun. It's lightweight. It fits. I'm taller too. So, I don't necessarily have the best luck with fit from female shot molds, if you will, and different shotgun brands either. So that one's been my go-to. I love it. Takes a beating.
What's your dog's names, Tiffany?
Oakley and Pearl.
What was Oakley named for?
She is Annie Oakley, and Pearl is Pearl Hart. So the story is Pearl Hart saw Annie Oakley in the Wild Bill show and then left her husband and her family to go out west because she was so inspired by Annie Oakley.
Well, that's a great awesome lead-in to the next question. I figured that Heather would be in the lead because of the biology question at this point, so I thought I'd give a question more in your neck of the woods, although I didn't know what your dog was named for. But famed sharpshooter Annie Oakley's shotgun. It was a 16 gauge Parker. It was a hammer gun. Side by side, 30-inch Damascus barrels. It weighed 7 pounds, 9 ounces. That's a load. And in 2013, it was auctioned. I'm going to show you a picture of that gun.
Beautiful.
So 2013, that Annie Oakley's gun was auctioned. What did it fetch?
Am I way under?
You are way under. $293,000.
Wow. That's amazing. Gorgeous.
I don't know if I could carry a 7 pound or a 7 pound 9 ounce gun, but my standard carry is a 20 gauge. I generally carry a pretty lightweight Beretta. But yeah, a 7 pound 9 ounce gun seems real heavy to me. And there's lots of pictures out there of Annie Oakley. She was a bird hunter, actually. There's good pictures of her out there.
Yep, I've seen her with some English pointers and some Brittany's.
Well, unfortunately, Heather can't win now because there's only 5 questions, but it kind of leads into our next question. Heather, what are the grouse eating right now, by the way?
Oh, it depends on where you're at. So right now, a lot of them, are still kind of switching from that bud to catkin. Or catkin to bud, So while the buds are growing out now, we've got a little bit of a switch in protein and fat content. So their diet is going from more of a fibrous diet to that bud that's opening up. We statewide in Michigan right now, I saw that had, I guess I should just say statewide, we had a really good bumper crop of soft mast, and that held on pretty strongly, even in the UP for our grouse here too. So if they can still, they're looking for anything and everything they can find right now. They can still forage on some soft mast, they're doing that, and they may start switching over to other opportunities like mushrooms as those pop up and insects as in the southern.
No, they aren't allowed to eat any mushrooms, dang it. They're all from me.
chewing on some morels in some parts of the state too. So really depends on where you're at and what climate you're at. It's going to be different from the central part of the state to the UP right now. But
the thing that you're going to be trying here soon, Heather, that hot sauce, the thing that makes hot sauce hot is capsaicin. And I thought it was interesting that apparently that birds are unaffected by it. And they think that birds can't taste hot peppers because they have way fewer taste buds. So the average human has 10,000 taste buds. Our final question. Now, I couldn't find out how many taste buds a grouse has, but let's just say they're chicken of the woods. And so how many taste buds does a chicken have?
I am destined for failure in this game show today. Well, this one is coming out of, you know what? All right, you ready?
All right, show them. 3,000 versus 85. And once again, Tiffany, 24 is all those chickens
Tiffany,
have. 24 taste
You're
buds.
a wizard.
Apparently, I need to do trivia night.
Tiffany putting on a full-on spanking. She's gonna get the hat. She's gonna get the gift card. She's gonna get the decal. But I think what we're all really interested in right now is we're interested in watching Heather take the loss.
All right, man. Suck
Cheers,
it up.
Heather.
Cheers. Dude, I have such a good dinner planned right now. This is gonna blow that away. All right. Cheers to you, Tiff.
Cheers to you, Heather. Woo, that's my girl right
Down
there.
the hatch.
Luckily, it was just Cholula. It's all I had, other than some crazy Jamaican habanero stuff or Scotch bonnet.
I love Cholula.
Woo!
Everything.
Well,
Chaser.
bravo, guys. Thanks for
Cheers,
coming on.
honey.
I know it was kind of random to have me reach out and say, hey, you want to come on a game show? But, you know, we're all locked in the house. And, you know, what else do we have better to do than Zoom with some of our bird hunting friends?
I want a rematch. But thanks so much for having us, Brian. That was fun.
We need to shift it over to the losers bracket. We've got the losers bracket and the winners brackets.
Count me in, buddy.
Do you guys have anything to plug? Anything you'd like to remind people of while you're on here?
Go ahead, Deb.
At TD Compton 1. That's my Instagram. That's all I got.
Oh, wait. And go ahead, Heather. Do your plug.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, if anyone finds himself in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, find me somehow on social media or through email, or someone randomly out there probably has my number from finding me in the Grouse Woods too. But I'd love to just continue to join other folks out there.
Cool.
Heather, we're going to the Veerling this year.
Yes, girl. Love that place too. Find me in Marquette.
And maybe we'll plan on doing some hunting later if this all goes away, the apocalypse ends, and we'll all get together.
That'd be great, guys. I'd love to have you too.
Well, everybody, thanks for watching. I want you to smash that subscribe button down there. Certainly would be helpful for us. And, you know, if you'd like to appear on the Upland Game Show or challenge somebody that you know, hit us with a DM. And, you know, follow us on all social, Ultimate Up and all the time. And you guys be safe. Great seeing you.
Good to see you too. Bye, guys.